Happy New Year! It is now 2017. Welcome to this edition of Inspired. I am your host, Takia LaShawn. We are here at wonderful Stokes Brown Toyota in Hilton Head, and I am picking up the all-new 2017 Toyota Tundra because in this episode, we are going to start a new year with a new you and get rid of some old insecurities. You are straight out of excuses. Come with me so I can show you exactly what we're getting rid of. In this episode, we're going to talk about banishing insecurities. Insecurities such as low self-esteem, pride, negative friendships, unhealthy relationships, abuse, promiscuity, and the biggest one of all, bitterness. I have packed up the truck. I'm going to pick up my friends. We're going to take a ride to the dump and get rid of all of your insecurities. So come on, take a ride with me and let's go.
She's a fighter, got that fire. When you thought she'd fade away, throws a fist up as she gets up, feeling stronger every day. When she gets down on her knees, she finds the courage to believe. She's a fighter who inspires me.
Welcome back to this episode of Inspired with Takia LaShawn. I have picked up my sisters, my girls, my hearts, my friends, and we are about to ride out and take this trash, this baggage, this garbage, all of these insecurities and get rid of them. We are just going to take a ride and chat. I want to tell you all, welcome my sister Monisa. Welcome. Hi. Monisa.
Thank you.
Toya, how you doing back there, girl? All right, let's go. Let's take a ride. So ladies, we are talking about, this is the new year. We are in 2017. 2016 is gone. It is behind us. We are, as the Bible says, forgetting those things that are behind us. Yes. We are going to press into the new year. And I just am so excited to talk about this topic. You know, we were driving, we get together, we hang out, we fellowship a lot, and we just ride and we talk. And so I thought it would be great to have you all along for the ride. And let's talk about some of these insecurities that we as women have. I mean, what do you think? What's up with that? Monisa, why don't you start out and share with us what you think is one of the biggest issues with where our insecurities start, where they come from?
I honestly believe, and I'm saying this also from personal experience, that when you don't know who you are, when there's an identity crisis, as I like to call it, you have no knowledge of who you are. And if you don't know who you are, you don't know how valuable you are.
Right.
You know,
right.
And so that's the root of it.
Exactly.
I believe that's the root of insecurity. Not knowing who you are, not knowing how valuable you are, not understanding what it means when the scriptures say you have been fearfully and wonderfully made.
That's
God
right.
don't make junk.
He does not. And he makes no mistakes. What do you think about that, sis? Toya?
Yes.
What do you think about that? What are your thoughts on where? So Monisa said that insecurities start within. You know, what is your input on that as far as why do you think we as women struggle with insecurities, and what is the root of that, and where does that come from?
When you have people also just putting you down and just treating you bad and just not having Christ absolutely, like sis said too, in you as well.
Right. I think that's good. I was thinking as we were talking on this topic, just what you said, I think it starts within. You know, a lot of times we are seeking validation, we are seeking love and acceptance from exterior outside influences. But really it has to start within. And really if you can't, I say this all the time, if you're no good for self, you can't be good for anyone. Absolutely. And so we have to be able, let me adjust my mirror so I can see that beautiful face back there. Hey girl. We have to start within. Yes. And I know for me, sharing my personal testimony, I knew that there were some things missing there, but I never would have labeled myself insecure. And it wasn't until I went to go seek some spiritual counseling from my pastor and his wife. And my pastor, in talking to him about the things that I would accept, he just plainly asked me, you know, or told me, you need to go back over your life and figure out where you became insecure. And that hit me like a ton of bricks because no one had actually verbally called me insecure. I don't even think I would have labeled myself insecure, but I knew it was there. And so when he said, go back and start looking over your life,
My goodness.
it sparked and motivated something in me to dig deeper as to, well, why did I accept the things that I did, and why was I the way that I was? And this almost peeling of the onion, you say that a lot,
Yes,
peeling the onion
peeling those
process
layers
began, and I began, and I started to peel those layers, and I got to the root of it. And when I got to the root of it, I was able to begin the healing process and better myself.
Yes.
And you know, what about you, sis? Where did you begin your process?
That, and may I be honest in saying that process is still ongoing.
Yes.
Because God's design is for us to continue to grow from glory to glory. So it's just like when you take off one layer, that outside of layer of that onion is really dry and hard and crunchy sounding. It takes a few layers of that before you get to the fleshly part of it.
Right.
And even then there's still more layers. So I believe that my issue with insecurity started as a child. Because as Sister Toya said, I was confident in who I was based on my family structure.
Right.
But when certain individuals began to use certain words, and to them it was harmless, that's just how the family talks,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
But when they begin to use certain words, I, as a kid, you know, you bounce back, but not really realizing as those seeds are being planted, something is going to grow at
Right.
some point.
Right.
It may not grow right then and there, but it will.
It will.
So I believe that, thank God for Jesus, you know, as I begin to learn who God has made me, and to also learn the power of words and how we
Yes.
have to be careful what
Yes.
we say, especially to anyone, but especially to children.
To children.
You have to be so careful. I believe that was the start of a wonderful journey in understanding that my circumstances doesn't dictate who I am. My finances, my physical, you know, challenges, whatever it is, that's not who I am.
Right.
Who I am is on the inside.
It's on the inside.
Yes.
Exactly. That's good. Toya, what about you?
Absolutely. Just like Sis said, who I am is on the inside, and just knowing Christ, and as our pastor said, pass. Like not letting my past, and like Sis said also, growing up, you know, our family
Right.
would, you know, like for me myself, I was like, you know, like they said, like the black sheep of the family. And I you know, words that you said and having those seeds planted, not letting those things, you know, get to us, and growing up from those things,
Right.
and just moving forward and not letting those things bother us,
Right.
and growing from those things.
Growing.
And I'm sorry, you
No. I was agreeing. You
okay,
said growing.
yeah.
I'm
And-
processing.
Yes. But just moving forward from those things.
Right. Two very powerful things that I heard, and when I said growing, that's what stood out. Monisa said, no, you said the past, and Monisa said words. Those are two very powerful tools that can be used to the negative and the positive. You know, we can allow the past, things in our past, words from our past to hinder us and dictate who we are, when on the inside, everything on the inside is screaming, that's not who you are. That's not who God created you to be. But then we can also flip it to the positive, and we can take and learn from our past and say, okay, this is what I was labeled, or this is what I was told, and I could face that head on without fear and charge at it and say, but I'm going to change that.
Yes.
And also, a lot of times we tend to allow people to pour words into us, and we take that as verbatim, that is it, that is what it has to be for us, and we really can turn that around and use our words to the positive for ourselves.
Yes.
Going back to, we talked about seeking validation. We as women, Toya and I were having this conversation on the drive the other night. We as women, a lot of times there's things in us, and we have this journey of bitterness, jealousy, things that are self-seeking, and we project that towards other people unknowingly, that
unknowingly.
it's not even directed towards them.
That's
It's something that I need to deal with within myself, in ourselves.
Yes.
And that's what we want to do, is to encourage and promote you all out there to, in this new year, make it a resolution to find you, be new within you, and not look for things that are going to be temporal.
Yes.
Toya, or was there anything else you wanted to say about that, sis?
I just wanted to add this. It was something very powerful you just said. I had watched a program some years ago when Tyler Perry had first started with Medea. And there was a play where the character says, I love me some me. You know, and that's what we have to start to learn, to love yourself. If God, the creator of everything, loves you,
that's it.
you got to love yourself.
You have to love yourself.
Yes.
And I mean, loving self, we touched on it, and we're going to talk about it some more when we come back from our commercial break. But we're really going to get to the root of how. But how do I love myself? How do I walk free of any inhibitions and break free of that? So sit right there. We're still traveling to throw all this garbage and this junk out. We're going to take a break for commercial. We'll be right back.
My inspiration, yeah.
So we are back, and we are still en route on this road because we want to take your insecurities far, 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 far away, and just help you to begin to heal and be the best new you in 2017. So we talked about some of the reasons, some of the places, the locations where insecurities begin to start. Let's talk about how we can move forward and heal from those insecurities. Let's talk about some of those insecurities first and foremost. We got a lot of different boxes and baggage back there. So we got some gossip bagged up and packed up. We got jealousy bagged up and packed up. We've got negative friendships,
Sayonara,
bad relationships, abuse. Let's talk about some of those insecurities that we're throwing out.
My goodness.
Toya.
Yes. Abuse is definitely an insecurity, because if you're in an abusive relationship, it would definitely have you insecure, because it would make you think that you're not good for anyone, anything, you know, and it'll make you think you're not good for yourself.
That's right. Yeah. I think abuse, and that encompasses a whole body of things. Abuse could be alcohol abuse, drug abuse, just anything, not necessarily just relationships.
That's
but
true,
no, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Absolutely. What about, sis, what
one of the things that one of those boxes that we're throwing out, you mentioned gossip. And it is so important that you not allow yourself to be somebody else's dumping ground.
Oh, that's good.
You cannot don't allow yourself to become someone else's garbage bin, because their toxicity, whether they mean it or not, is going to make you toxic. Just by listening to it, entertaining it, sitting still and not saying anything is just as bad. Because you know, those are, again, words have power.
Yes, they do.
And those are seeds being planted. And so that's something I think, especially as sisters, we're supposed to be our sister's keeper, as Sister Toya always says. You know, when you love yourself, love will not allow you to downgrade or berate someone else, or allow you to tolerate someone else doing it to another.
Absolutely.
You know, so
that's good. That's a very good point right there. Love will not allow you to downgrade yourself or tolerate it from another. I think gossip is probably one of the biggest soul destroying insecurity out there. Jealousy, bitterness. You know, let's talk about bitterness, because bitterness, to me, I believe can stem from so many other forms of insecurity. It can be the foundation, or not necessarily the foundation, but it can be a culmination of so many other things, of jealousy, of abuse, of hurt, of low self-esteem, and you become bitter in allowing those other things to combine, and you look at someone else who has overcome that, or maybe they were blessed to never even have those there, so they are happy with self, they're secure in self, and that root of bitterness is in there, and if you don't deal with it, you begin to project on others, and their blessings and their accomplishments and their achievements, and so we got to deal with the root of bitterness as well.
Got to deal with it, because it doesn't only make you an emotional wreck. People have been diagnosed and have died with cancer because of the root of bitterness. It takes its toll on your physical body. You know, and so when you speak about getting to the root of things, we really do have to go back, because like you said, it becomes this big web of all these different things, and negativity kind of attracts negativity.
Negativity attracts,
doesn't it?
You hear the term misery loves company. Guaranteed, when you have an individual that has not dealt with whatever is going on in there. I know for me, I used to always feel like, why is it that I attract a certain type of man? Or why is it that I attract certain type of friendships? And the problem was, I was hurting, they were hurting, he was hurting, we as a whole were hurting. And that law of attraction, we all pulled together. But I had to get to the place where I said, you know what? Time out. I can't keep doing this. I'm tapping out, you know? But it was a process. And for me, like I said, it began when it was stated to me, you need to go back and search that out. And for me, it used to be negative relationships. I just did not feel that I was worthy enough to have a man to love me and treat me and see me for who I was and accept me, shaved head, hairstyle, makeup, whatever and all. You know, I had to be secure with me. I had to not try to please someone because of what I thought they wanted, but I had to be who I was. And when I peeled away those layers, it started in my childhood, just like you all talked about. Toya, you were going to say something?
No, well, yes. What I was going to say, what Sis said about that gossiping, has just brought me back to a statement that our pastor made as far as gossiping, not allowing someone to call with the gossip, because that gossip, it stops your blessings.
It stops your blessings. That's good. And I want to revisit that as well. We have to be strong enough that a lot of times we think, well, this person's going to call me and they're going to talk to me about it, but I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to offer any insight. I'm just going to listen and then I'm going to get off the phone. That's still guilty as charged. That's still wrong. You have to be secure enough within yourself to say, just like you said, I am not your dumping ground. I am not your garbage can. You cannot pour your negativity into me and make me view another the way that you do. Hey, matter of fact, let's turn it around. Let me say something positive about this individual. You know, we have to begin to learn to speak up, step up, and stand out. Absolutely. We are getting closer to getting rid of this trash. Woo! I mean, it's got my new 2017 Toyota Tundra Platinum loaded down, but it is fully equipped and strong enough to carry it. I love this new truck. Y'all love the truck?
Awesome.
I love it. It's matching the diamond stitch leather interior. Is matching my diamond stitch leather blazer. Well, we are having a great time. It is comfortable, roomy. You know what? There's a song, "Break Every Chain," Tasha Cobb. We need to, we'll pull that up and let the ladies listen, because that's so appropriate for these chains of bondage and these chains of just insecurity. Let's see, what else do we have back there that we loaded up?
We spoke about negative relationships.
And old habits. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, with negative relationships, that's not just between, as far as eros love, man and woman, but relationships, period. That can be in business, that can be in ministry, with your children even. Whatever relationships, what is inside you has to come out. And it affects even your parenting. It affects you as a parent, as a wife, as a husband, all of these things. So I think that was very important that you had that box back there for us to get rid of that also. We got a lot of stuff back there.
I even packaged up and threw away some promiscuity. I mean, let's talk about that. It's the elephant in the room.
It is the elephant in the room with ivory tusks.
Well, wait a minute. With ivory tusks, ivory's a little precious, and promiscuity is not precious.
It's not what the tusks hurt. You get stuck.
The tusks have been removed. What do you think about that, Toya? Promiscuity is definitely an insecurity because I can be transparent. When my issue was, again, Takia wasn't secure in self, and Takia thought, I'm gonna go find love in this place. And a lot of times we're speaking to our young girls right now, a lot of times young women that may not have had a father figure in the home, may have had a father figure in the home physically, but not emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and they begin to seek that love elsewhere. And a lot of times they are taken advantage, and sometimes it's not even taking advantage, it's just being led to do the wrong things, feeling like this body, everything that God created you to be beautifully and intricately, to share with one man, your husband, we feel like that is something that I have to give of myself, and that becomes an insecurity because you're seeking love in the wrong places. And sex without God involved, marriage between a man and woman, is not love.
It's not.
It's not love.
It's really not. No.
And it's awful. And then you end up getting hurt.
I can't hear you, sis. I'm sorry.
And then you end up getting hurt.
And you end up getting hurt.
And used. And that's insecurity. So then you go out and then you try to find someone else that's going to give you what you're looking for. And then it happens again. And then you do it again. And then the insecurity get higher and higher and higher. And it's the same cycle over and over and over again.
Sis just said something, sis, about not being someone else's. When you are intimate with someone outside of marriage, you take on their spirit. Whatever garbage they got going on gets inside of you.
It gets inside of you, absolutely. And so we've talked about a lot here today. My prayer is that you would really sit down this year and really focus on a new and better you. Thank you for joining us on this ride. We're getting ready to unload this garbage. Until the next episode, be blessed.
My inspiration,
This episode of Inspired with Takia LaShawn has been sponsored by Stokes Brown Toyota of Hilton Head, General Manager Brian Cooler. The all-new 2017 Toyota Tundra Platinum features JBL audio sound system, AM/XM FM radio, navigation system, sunroof, blind spot mirror monitoring, parking sensors with memory seats, all power steering wheel adjustment, new Bluetooth technology, power rear window controls, backup cam, and diamond stitch-on-stitch leather finish. Contact Chris Luther of sales at the all-new Stokes Brown Toyota of Hilton Head.
You're my inspiration, my inspiration.